High fire glazing. This will teach you everything you need to learn to begin glazing in the ceramics room. Greenware is clay that is not yet fired. Pieces will look chalky and white when they're all the way dry. Bisqueware is clay that has been fired once. It no longer can be recycled and is now hard as a rock. Once your pieces have been fired once and are now bisqueware, they are ready for glazing. Glazing can be really fun and exciting if you follow all the directions. If you don't, you can make some really big mistakes and ruin your whole project. So listen closely to these tips about glazing.
The names of the glazes are on the bottom, and sometimes there are two glazes, which mix. These are glazes, which correlate with the colors on the bins.
Your pieces, make sure to look at the warning label on the bucket. For instance, this one says, only inside of the piece runs a lot.
Because of a chemical reaction that happens during the firing process, Noxema blue is actually pink. So make sure you check your example before starting to glaze.
Right. It's important to stir the glaze in order to mix up the chemicals that are within the glaze, and also to check for thickness and make sure that it's an even distribution of chemicals. Sometimes it's also important to use a wooden tool or another hard tool in order to scrape the bottom of the bucket so that all the chemicals that are kind of stuck and clumped together get mixed in and distributed evenly. Make sure that when you stir the glaze, it's the consistency of whole milk, not too watery and not like a paste.
Another way for glazing your piece is by dipping down. Lift the piece up quick before it gets too thick.
Another way to glaze is by pouring.
The last way to apply glaze is by brushing it on. If it's too hard to glaze over by the buckets, you can take one of the measuring cups, dunk it in, and then you could take it to your table. And then at your table, you can brush on the glaze. This is helpful for when you've missed certain areas. This is the one technique where you can actually put on 2 layers versus pouring and dipping. You want to only put on 1 layer.
When glazing your piece, you have to make sure it's not on the bottom, and if you do get any on the bottom, you want to try and make sure that wherever it will touch the surface of the counter anywhere, that there is no glaze. And then if you're having troubles getting all of it off with the sponge, you can use the screen thing and make sure you get everything off there. Maybe like a pinky finger up. And then just like have a little bit there in case it drips.
When you're glazing your piece, make sure to never put too much glaze on or put it on the bottom, otherwise it will get stuck and never ever come off. When you are done glazing with high fire, you're going to put it on this high fire shelf, and then if you made a mistake or something, Ms. Olson will move it down there, so check that.
Remember, your pieces go on this cart once they've been glazed, the bottoms have been cleaned off, and you're ready to have them fired. If this is not done properly, check the bottom shelf for your piece, as it will not get fired until it is properly glazed. Glazeware has been fired twice. It has had a layer of glaze applied to it, and the surface will oftentimes look shiny, sometimes matte depending on the glaze. Take a second to review the information about glazing. Fill in any missing answers on your sheet now. Remember, if you are confused, just ask questions. You are now ready to glaze on your own. Don't forget to take the formative quiz online before you start.
Have fun glazing!